Tabletop Spotlight, brought to you by Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy. Hey everyone, I'm AdamHarry from Bella Souls with
Drake from Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy.
And we're back with another Tabletop Spotlight. Drake, see you got the old Angel's Blade today, huh?
Yep.
Yes.
The new Angel's Blade.
The new. Yeah, it's true. It's brand new today.
I'm curious to see what kind of love the boys in red got.
Yeah, we've seen leaks for the past couple of days here in our time. I don't know when you're watching it, but I'm pretty stoked about this one. There's a lot of cool new stuff in here. Formations, detachments, relics, war gear, warlord traits. It's just a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Lots of new shiny toys for the Sons of Sanguinius.
It's true. I actually have a Blood Angels army as well, so I'm pretty pumped about this one. So let's go ahead and take a look inside Angel's Blade.
This is for you, Ed.
It's for me. It's for me. All right, Drake. It's Angel's Blade time, man. So this is front of the book, obviously.
Yes.
This is, again, part of the Black Crusade series, which is a two-part series with, so far, 2 parts anyway, with this book and the previous book that came out, Traitor Shade, which was the Chaos book. So, yeah. So this one's pretty cool because it's obviously heavily focused on the Blood Angels and the Death Company in the Blood Angels. So, a whole lot of new stuff in here for the boys in red and black. So, we'll get started here. We're not going to go through everything, but I do want to show off some key stuff. Obviously, we're going to take a look at the table of contents first up to bat here. So we've got all the backstory, which is very interesting just because of, again, this is the Blood Angels fighting the Black Crusade, which there's been 13 of them at this point. It's
a lucky number.
I guess this is the 13th one redone again, so
yeah,
it's kind of a big deal. But that's a lot of the backstory all through there. We will eventually get into, by chapter 4, we get into the forces of the Blood Angels and all their new stuff that they're getting. And you can see it's quite a list. There's even some Death Company specific stuff. If you've ever wanted to play just a Death Company army, as a matter of fact, you can do that with this book.
Jeez.
So pretty cool stuff. We'll go ahead and flip through. Obviously, tons of backstory. We're not going to go through everything just because that's why you buy the book. But it just keeps going. Lots of backstory. Lots of really cool art, too.
Yeah, this is really... Oh, snap.
There's that big spread we saw before.
I mean, spoilers, but he wins.
I don't know. Well,
yeah.
Well, it's not a bad fight. On the tabletop, I actually was thinking about this. At first, my gut instinct's to go with Karn, just right off the bat, because it's Karn, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know, he's got the Rosarius, he's got the Crozarius. You know, he could... If he makes it to round 2, it's looking better for him if he can get a wound in on Karn because of the concussive.
Yeah.
But it could go, again, if it makes it to round 2, it's bad times. If he makes a couple of key saves, he's fine. If he fails them, he's toast. On the flip side, it's a Melt-A-Pistol. Karn doesn't have Eternal Warrior still. Yeah, we know where that goes. So, yeah, Melt-A-Pistol. He cheated. He pulled an Indiana Jones on him. Anyway, moving on, and that's actually Chaplain Daenor. So that fancy looking chaplain.
Oh.
So bunch of Death Company, good stuff there. Lots of pictures, like we saw. Army of Death, which is just a kind of a spotlight on the Blood Angels. We get to take a look at their not chapter organization, but the organization of the Death Company there. So we can kind of see they are the lost brotherhood, basically. You know, the Death Company that have succumbed to the Black Rage. The Blood Angels that have succumbed to the Black Rage joined the Death Company or are forced into the Death Company. And it's kind of a suicide pact, sort of, but they fight really, really hard and will totally smash face. So, and this is, of course, all their cool heraldry. Drake, do you happen to know what the X's are on their armor? I know you're not a Blood Angels player.
Nope. So. Tell me, Adam.
The X's represent the wounds that Sanguinius had when he fought Horus.
Oh.
So what happened, of course, Horus Heresy lore is Sanguinius fought Horus at the Battle of Terra. Mm-hmm. He was beaten by Horus, but he rumor has it he put a chink in Horus's armor, and that's the same one that the Emperor used to kill Horus.
Yeah.
But as he was dying, they recovered his gene seed, and the scars, the psychic scars on his gene seed was replicated throughout his chapter. So all of the new Blood Angels recruits eventually succumb to the Black Rage, where they kind of go mad from the psychic wounds that was caused, and all of these X's on their armor are supposed to be the same areas that Sanguinius was wounded when he fought Horus. So,
but they're all different.
Yeah, it's more of a symbol, man. It's not. I don't know how much of it's 100%
I'm noticing a
accurate.
lot of the right shoulder, but
Yeah.
an A leg or
I mean,
maybe.
Horus jacked him up pretty good.
Yeah,
so
he got. Let's be real.
let's be real.
This should just be an X.
It's just a big X, just the whole thing. But you can see it's kind of a symbol, and it's you see that red X repeated throughout all the Death Company iconography and stuff like that. So if you've ever wondered what it is, there it is. So some of these maps are similar to the ones we saw in Trader's Hate, so that's cool. Lots of really big artwork. I think this one's going to focus now more on just the Blood Angels in general, this section. You see some Sanguinary Guard, and yeah, there you see just straight up.
Whoa. That's a
some
pretty
awesome
sweet spread.
Wow. Who do you think's winning that fight right now?
I mean, this Mutilator just got messed up.
Seriously, he's getting... The dude's standing on top of him with a Thunderhammer. He's not going anywhere.
He's like, oh no, bullets. There's a lot of Mutilators. Oh my god.
There are quite a few Mutilators up in here.
There's Defiler in the back and Forge Fiends everywhere. Where are they?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet art. I don't care what you say. Yeah.
The Defiler.
Awesome. So it just keeps going, man. Tons of cool art. We're gonna skip ahead. Strike Force. There's how the Strike Force is kind of set up there, as you can see. More of the colors of the Blood Angels, which is mostly just red. Let's be honest.
Lots of red.
Lots of red. The gold again for veterans. Is
Important gold.
Yeah. There we go. So I'm just gonna skip ahead more. There's Sanguinor going to town, probably. Screaming Pit. This is a little bit more about the Blood Angels General. I'm just skipping ahead. I know there's a ton of stuff that we're skipping over, but again, that's kind of why we buy these books. That's why I'm picking this one up too. It's not just for the rules, but for a lot of this background. So this is one of the Second Company guys. So there's all the Second Company iconography. Look really cool. Different squads. I always liked how they did this. It adds a little bit more of like world building to the chapter, you know?
Yeah, like I'm the 8th squad.
Yeah, you can actually build out narrative wise. And this book has been packed full of really cool artwork. I like this picture too. As you can see, just tons of cool stuff. More maps. Love the maps.
Oh, the Scutaris here.
Yeah. I think it's Blood Angels, Scutari, or Cult Canicus, whatever you want to call them. Well, yeah, both really. And then obviously World Leaders are there because Karn's here. Yeah. Black Legion's here.
Because it's the Crusade.
Yeah, Black Crusade. So there's just a lot. And there's also supposed to be some Knights coming in, but there's also Renegade Knights helping the Chaos Forces out. So yeah, it's just a big throwdown. Big old battle. Lots of awesome pictures and shots too. So here's where we get into the actual rules. We're going to go over this part really quickly just because I don't really know what else to say. Like these rules actually mentioned here are for the Assault Squads and Devastator Squads specifically. These data sheets in this book actually replace their counterparts in Codex Blood Angels, which is kind of a big deal. It's really the first time Games Workshop has ever said these rules supersede those rules and use these rules instead. So it's kind of a big deal just for those rules lawyers out there that want to make that argument.
Like, no.
Yeah, another thing that's cool about this book is it's got updates for a lot of the squadrons for vehicles and stuff like that. One of my personal favorite rules here is actually for the land speeders, which is the anti-grav upwash, which is when you have 3 or more land speeders, it can move an additional 6 inches when moving flat out.
Which I think makes sense.
They're supposed to be the fast chapter, right? So yeah.
Well.
And I guess also when they're all 3 flowing in formation.
Yeah.
Yeah, anti-grav kind of kicks in. Anyway, that's just some of the little things here. Predators get special rules too, and the Ball Predator, of course, also has some special rules when there's 3 of them. So just to encourage you to take them in squadrons.
So many tanks.
Lots of tanks. Armies of Sanguinius. So you've got this is the Angels Blade Strike Force. This is their big. People call it the Decurions now. So this is what this basically is. and you can see how you build this one out. It's got 0-5 command options, 1 core, and then 1 auxiliary. So it works together like puzzle pieces. You pick and choose which ones, and then kind of build your list or your army based off of that. So lots of different command options you can choose from. Lots of different core choice. Well, two major core choices. You've got the Battle Demi Company and then the Archangels Demi Company. You kind of pick from there, and they have a ton of different units inside each of those, and then auxiliary and stuff like that. So that's the Angel's Blade Strike Force. I believe there's another one later on, which we'll get to. But we've got the new Terminator Captain and new Death Company Chaplain, which is a big deal. These are both new, I believe. So then you got the updated Assault Squad and Devastator Squad rules, which is awesome. They have the option to ride with no backpacks now, which jump packs, which they had before, but just kind of updated that stuff too. Devastators now have Grav, so if you have Blood Angels Devastators, you can get Grav, which is just kind of putting them on par with the rest of the Blood Angels or rest of the Space Marines.
Yeah.
Battle Demi Company, they all have some of them have special rules here, but not all of them will get something super cool. So, Demi Company, 10th Company Ambush Force. This is nice. This is like an all scout list. If you wanted to do that.
Fast Angels.
There's the Death Company Strike Force, which this comes into play later as well. This is the new Golden Host. This formation is pretty dirty. If you take Sanguinor or Dante, which is pretty, both of those are solid commanders.
I like what you should take.
Yeah, and 2 to 5 units of Sanguinary Guard, you get this one, and this formation actually allows your Sanguinary Guard to assault from D-Strike.
Ooh.
So that's pretty good. If you've ever had, I have some Sanguinary Guard, and I always struggle to get them to the heart of the battle, not Deep Strike. Oh, you Deep Strike them in, and they just get shot or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if you take 2 to 5 units of them now, you can Deep Strike them and actually get them into combat where those big Gladius weapon there.
And you don't have to roll for them to come in.
Yeah, you just pick the turn.
And you can re-roll the scatter dice.
Yeah. The downside is when you do Deep Strike, you do count as making a disorder charge, but with those blades they have, it's okay to lose 1 attack. You'll be okay.
Not just sit
to not
there.
get shot for a turn. Yeah, the trade-off is in attacks is you actually get to make the assault. So yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, given.
Chapter Agents, this is just a Dreadnought formation, which is kind of cool. Storm River Squadron. Yeah, this one has a cool one where they can fire a bunch of their missiles, which I'm not going to get into, but it lets them just fire that target, just take all the rest of our missiles. And then there's all those tanks you love. Some of the War Gear Ball, which is cool. A master-crafted Thunderhammer, which is nice.
Oh my god.
The Grav Amp is a new War Gear piece too. When rolling to wound with a grab weapon, if you're hitting a vehicle, you can re-roll the result. So
nice.
Grav gets even dirtier. And then they get they've been fighting orcs for so long, they finally got the ammo runt. This is basically what this is Armorium Cherub. Cherub is basically just the same as an ammo runt from orcs. Like, you get to re-roll to shoot. So, yeah, like I said, it's hanging out. New psychic powers. They have all the same psychic powers now that Angels of Death for Space Marine had, so they have the access to all those now too. You can see.
Library, Techno, Geo, and.
Yep, and Fulmination. Yep. So.
Just lightning.
Lightning bolts. Yep.
From my fingertips.
This is their custom mission, which is cool. And here's another one, and a third one. Forces of the Death Company.
Ew.
This is what I was getting into about
cool.
If you wanted to run a full Death Company list. This is cool. Not only can you do that now, you have, as Death Company, you have your own Warlord traits and your own access to new relics. So in here it says, if you can take relics from the Relics of Baal list, which I believe is in the Blood Angels Codex, you can also take Relics of the Lost. So, pretty cool. Some of these are specific to Death Company only, though. So, like this Gilded Cruzarius is for Death Company chaplains only, and it's actually really good in my opinion. It's still +2 strength, but it's AP 3, and it's melee concussive and mastercrafted. So the fact that it's basically a Power Mall, but it's AP3 and master crafted. It makes it really good.
Yeah.
On top of all that fun stuff, it also lets you re-roll ones for your Feel No Pain. So if the model variant doesn't have Feel No Pain, they get Feel No Pain, and you can re-roll rolls of your 1 on your Feel No Pain checks. So, yeah, and it affects the whole unit.
Oh my god.
It's pretty good. Pretty
Jesus.
good. There's Counter-Strike too if you need it, but it's 30 points. So, but it gives the whole, if he's in a unit, everybody gets it. So, this is the fun. This is more of the fun for the Blood Angels. This is the Lost Brotherhood Strike Force. So just like we saw before, you now have your own Death Company Strike Force. So you can take an entire army of Death Company if you want to. So, and this is going to be led by Asterath, Lamartez, or just a generic Death Company chaplain, which we saw earlier in the book here. So, and then all the different, Death Company Strike Force, which we saw a little bit earlier, and then all the supports that you can take with it. And it's nice too because his core is 1+, so you can take this multiple times. So it may not seem like much, but man, whole bunch of Death Company coming at you. They used to have tons of restrictions. I remember even as short time as an edition or two ago, where you had, you can only take 1 squad of Death Company, for every 10 Blood Angels you could have 1 Death Company member and stuff like that. They used to have really weird restrictions and stuff like that, but now you can have a whole army. So that's pretty much it. And there's a quick recap. Your tactical objectives for the Death Company. So 1 new page of relics, which is cool. New warlord traits as well, and then all the Death Company fun stuff too. So, yay! That's pretty much it, man.
That's cool.
Yeah. So what do you think, Drake?
I don't like that. I don't like that Crozius.
Oh yeah?
That makes you
nervous?
It makes me a little nervous, yes.
As a Chaos player, you're nervous?
Yeah, as Chaos Marines, I don't like that.
Don't forget that he also has litanies going in too.
Great.
Litanies hate for the reroll. Yeah. I know you love that.
I hate him back, so.
Fair enough. All right, cool. Let's hop out for a really quick recap. So that was Angel's Blade. We're going to run some numbers real quick, obviously from Games Workshop for Warhammer 40K. What's the price point on this one?
$49.95.
It's right in line with the rest of the supplements and books.
It is another hardcover supplement from G-Dubs.
It's true. And if you're a Blood Angels player, I would almost say this is a must-buy. Not just because of the new stuff, but because it actually says in the rules that, again, Assaults and Devastators...
Yeah, we supersede.
Yep, replace the old ones. So, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to pick it up, because it's got a bunch of new formations and relics and war gear. And just
It's a hearty supplement for the Blood Angels players.
Yeah, and again, tons of background. Even if you're not a Blood Angel player, it's got tons of info about not just the Blood Angels, but also about the Black Crusade that's going on, which is a lot of new stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to see them continue this.
Yeah,
maybe even get some Xenos involved.
I don't know if the Xenos will get involved in the Black Crusade just because of the nature of the conflict.
Like collateral?
I can see Eldar.
I mean, I realize that nobody are friends.
It's true. I just, I don't see the Tyranids getting in there.
Well, sure, no.
Probably not the Orcs unless they get caught up in the path. The Eldar probably. I could see them get involved.
And who's to say, the...
Necrons might pop up out of the ground or whatever.
Yeah, there's a Katana the whole time.
That's who's driving the conflict. That'd be kind of funny, actually. But, yeah, so go check it out. It's in stores right now.
Yep.
Man, I don't know what to say. I got to pick it up for my Blood Angels. And Drake's got Trader's Hate, so we might have to get a game on here or something. So. Anyway, I'm AdamHarry from Bell Souls.
And I'm Drake with Dragons Lair Comics and Fantasy.
And this has been another Tabletop Spotlight. Thanks again for watching. Tabletop Spotlight brought to you by Dragons Lair Comics and Fantasy. Thanks for watching.